So let us treat the mechanism of organic reaction. Mechanism of what? Organic what? Organic reaction. But I would like to call it what? Reaction mechanism. They are what? Reaction. Reaction mechanism. Reaction mechanism. Reaction what? Mechanism. So the reaction mechanism it shows us the actual pathway of the reaction. Tell us what all scenario that happen on chemical reaction. You know, the chemical reaction was this reaction to give us this. For a mechanism of reaction, we must go through what? Into to know the what are the main things that really happen in what? In the reaction. So by definition, what is reaction mechanism? So reaction mechanism, reaction what? Mechanism. This is actual sequence, partial sequence or bond. The actual was sequence of bond breaking and bond forming. Bond breaking and bond forming during the course of chemical course of a reaction. Cause of what? Of the reaction. This reaction mechanism is the actual sequence of the bond breaking and now bond forming in a what? Chemical reaction. And it's what show us the actual pathway of the outwards reaction. So the actual mechanism tells us what the actual pathway of what of the reaction. As we all know that is what all the chemical reaction take place by reacting what a reactant. Two reactive particles react together to give us what a product. Abi, by saying that we have what when we say all the chemical reaction deals with what we call what substrates. Substrates react with what the agent to give us what products. Substrates react with the agent to give us what products. And this substrate is a lag molecule, where the agent just a small particle is what the agent. So when the substrate and the agent react together to give us what products. But the mechanism of reaction tells us that what Whenever the substrate, substrate react with the agent before the product will form, we have what we call what? Reaction intermediate. Substrate reacts with the agent to form what? Intermediate. To form what? A what? Intermediate. And this intermediate will then later form what we call what? What? Product. For every, is a normal reaction. For to show the mechanism of reaction, when substrates and reagents react together, we have a reaction with intermediate. This reaction intermediate is a fragment, it's short life fragments. Short life fragment. It just forms within and it forms what? Products. So this is what the mechanism of reaction is comprised of substrates and the reactants react together and again at the reactant site. These two, they are at what? Reactant site. Don't be confused, two of them, they are at what? They are what? Reactant site. And they will form an intermediate. This intermediate form what? Products. So the next thing that we got, what is what? This reaction intermediate. Yes. What is what? Reaction what? Intermediate. Reaction intermediate, if you want to understand the mechanism of reaction, you must understand the what? The reaction what? Intermediate. Of any reaction intermediate. Okay. The reaction intermediate or a chemical reaction or mechanism of a what? Of a reaction. Okay. Say what? Homolytic. Okay. Reaction intermediate. So homo what? Homolytic and heterolytic. Hetero what? Lytic bond. Yes. Homolytic and heterolytic what? Bond fission or bond breaking results. Bubble breaking results into or results homolytic bonds, homolytic and heterolytic bond fission. The results okay. Homolytic bonds fission result in the formation of short life, short what? Life fragments, fragments called reaction inter reaction inter what? Intermediate. Inter intermediate, sorry, reaction, intermediate, say what, the reaction intermediate is a what? It is a soft life fragment which results from the homolytic and the heterolytic bond fission. That is what reaction intermediate. That is what homolytic and heterolytic bond fission results in the formation of soft life fragment called reaction intermediate. That's what this reaction intermediate is the products of homolytic and heterolytic fission. If you still remember, we have done homolytic fission and heterolytic bond fission. So we know the meaning. So the homo and heterolytic bond fission result to the formation of a soft life fragment called reaction intermediate. Abi? And the common reaction intermediates are the what? The common reaction intermediates are number one, carbonium ion. This carbonium ion, we can also call it what? Carbocation. We have what we call carbanion. And the third one, we have carbon free radical. These are the what? The three reaction intermediates we have. And before I will explain carbonium ion, carbanion, and the carbon free radicals, I would like to explain the types of carbon atom in what we have. I would like to explain the types of carbon atom what we have. Yeah? Start from there. Types. Types of carbon atom in organic compound. What are the types of carbon atom we have in what? Organic compound. Because we apply them in what? In this mechanism of what? Of reaction. So let me introduce you to what? The kind of carbon we have what? In organic compound. The first carbon we have is methyl carbon. What do I call it? Methyl carbon. What is methyl carbon? Methyl carbon is a carbon atom that attach, or is a carbon atom that three hydrogen is what is attached to it. Any carbon atom that contains three what hydrogen is called methyl carbon. What are the methyl carbon? Example of methyl carbon is what is this? You have carbon with hydrogen, hydrogen. So any carbon atom that is has what three hydrogen, that carbon, what do we call it? Methyl carbon. The second carbon we have, we call it what? Primary carbon. Primary what? Carbon. This primary carbon we always use what? 1 degree C to denote it. So the primary carbon is a carbon that has what? One alkyl group and two replaceable hydrogen atoms. Hello, once again, this primary carbon, it has what? One alkyl group and two replaceable hydrogen atoms. These two hydrogen are what? Are replaceable. This carbon, we call it what? Primary carbon. Any carbon that has what? One alkyl group and two replaceable hydrogen atoms, what do we call it? We call it primary what? Primary carbon. And we also have another carbon called what? Methylene. Yes, look at methylene. This of methylene, you can have a carbon like this that has two this carbon has two hydrogen what? Atom, but know what? Alkyl group here. Abi? So this kind of carbon, you call it what? What? Methylene. What? Methylene. Please note it. And the next one, you can also have what? A secondary carbon. Secondary carbon is what? 2C. That is the secondary what? Carbon. Secondary carbon is the carbon atom that is have what? Two alkyl group and one replaceable hydrogen atom. C. This is the secondary carbon. We have what? Two alkyl group. This is hydrogen here. Hydrogen on top here. It has what? Alkyl group here. This. Look at this carbon. This carbon has what? How many alkyl group? Two. How many what? Hydrogen. One. So this kind of carbon, we call it secondary carbon. And the third one, we have tertiary what? Tertiary carbon. Tertiary what? Carbon. The tertiary carbon is 3D. It's a carbon atom that have what? Bonded with 3 alkyl group without what? Replaceable hydrogen atom are called tertiary. What are the tertiary alkyl group now? This is tertiary alkyl group. We have this. Any carbon that have 3 alkyl group and without any replaceable hydrogen atom, we call it what? Tertiary what? Carbon. And the next thing is quaternary carbon. Quaternary carbon is the carbon atom that have what? 4 alkyl group. Quaternary carbon is the carbon atom that have 4 what? Alkyl group. Well, what? Quaternary what? Carbon. Quaternary means what? It's 4 raised to power 0 C. This quaternary carbon is a carbon that have how many alkyl group? 4. They have 4 what? Alkyl group. So any carbon that has 4 alkyl group are called quaternary what? Carbon. And the next one we have what is this guy? An what? Carbon. And carbon is a carbon atom. And carbon is a sp3 carbon. Yes. sp3 what? Carbon atom. that attach to carbon carbon double bonds that attach to carbon double what? Double bond. See, look at this structure. This is what CH double bond CH what 2, and at the back here we have what CH3. Eh? So this is what the this carbon has S what sp3 hybridization for these two sp2 sp2, and this carbon here which attach to what these two, the carbon here that attach to what to this carbon double bond I call what a lilyl, yes, a lilyl carbon atom. So any carbon atom that attach himself to the what to the carbon double bond are called a lilyl carbon. And the next one is olefinic carbon. Olefinic what? Carbon. What is olefinic carbon? It's a carbon double bond in organic compound are called olefinic what? Carbon. And their hybridization is what? sp2 hybridization. Like these two carbon now, they are olefinic what? Carbon. We have what? CH3 here, and we have CH double this. So these two carbon we have here, the two carbon here are called what? For what? Olefinic carbon atom. And their hybridization is what? Is sp2. The next carbon we also have is called acetylic carbon. So the acetylic carbon is the carbon atom that attach to carbon-carbon triple bond. Any carbon atom that attach to the what? Carbon-carbon triple what? Bond. This kind of carbon we have here are called, this triple bond carbon here are called what? As a what? Acetylic what? These two carbon here are called acetylic carbon. Their hybridization is what? Is sp. And the last type of what? Of carbon we have benzylic what? Carbon. What is benzylic carbon? Benzylic carbon, benzene, benzylic what? Carbon is a carbon atom that attach to what? To benzene. If you have a benzene in this form, this is the benzene. This carbon atom that attach to it, you call it what? Benzylic what? Benzylic carbon. So those are the what? The types of carbon atom what we have. So now we can now move to the what? The types of reaction intermediates we have, which is carbanion, carbonium ion, carbon free radicals. Let me take it one after the what? The other. I will explain the carbanion, then the formation of carbanion, then the stability of what? Of this carbonium what? Ion. So let us treat this three. After this three, we now enter the what? The types of mechanism of what? Of reaction. So in the type of mechanism reaction, we are not going in deeply to the mechanism of what? Of reaction.